Hello, everybody. Good morning. We are back with another science lesson for you today. So, hope you're all doing well at home. We're going to talk about different types of reactions. We're going to finish our reactions notes, and I will have a Google form for you to submit to give me some of your examples as well. And I'm going to just check them out, and I'm interested to see what you guys can come up with. This is normally I've done something in class with other students, but as for our situation right now, I'll get you to submit it electronically. So let's get started with our notes here. We are going to pick back up on the slide that we were on Friday. Sorry, that was on Thursday. And I believe we were right here. So, is that working? I think so. Yes. Okay. So today we are going to talk about exothermic and endothermic reactions, the difference between them, and I'll have some videos that you can watch, which will give you just an example of what they look like. So we've seen exothermic reactions a lot, but we haven't seen endothermic yet. So that'll be something that we'll do. So combustion reactions, just a reminder, this is any reaction that has a product of carbon dioxide and water, right? So that was the last thing we talked about. Now we have officially finished talking about those 5 types. You can try to remember them all in your head. We had synthesis, decomposition, single displacement, double displacement, and combustion. So what is the difference between an endothermic reaction and an exothermic reaction? An exothermic reaction is a reaction in which heat energy is a product. So when heat is produced in the reaction, that is called exothermic. All right. Heat is released as the reaction occurs. And an example of this would be an example of we have butane reacting with oxygen, and that produces, you'll notice it produces 2 products that we always see in combustion reactions, carbon dioxide and water. But then there's this very important little last piece right here, and it's the fact that it also produces energy. We know that it's a product because it's on the right-hand side of the arrow. It's on the product side of the arrow. So energy is released, okay? Energy is released in the form of sound or light, or as we're concerned with today, heat. So heat is produced. You could also see it like this, where it does just specifically say that heat is produced. So these are examples of what we would look at if we were looking at an exothermic reaction. Endothermic reactions are just the opposite. So what ends up happening is instead of releasing heat, they require heat. So in a reaction in which heat energy is a reactant, it's part of the reaction. This is called endothermic. So heat is required for the reaction to proceed. So what would this look like? You can think about it on yourselves, and actually you can pause here and you can go take a look at the video that I've posted in the Google Classroom, the one link where it shows an exothermic reaction, and you'll see something very interesting occur in what that guy does. Normally we would do that experiment and that together, but you can just see the video. It's the exact same thing that I would have done with you. When heat is required for reaction, you have to think about absorbing heat, right? And when we absorb heat, what that ends up leaving us with is something that's very cold. So an endothermic reaction is a reaction in which it gets really cold, okay? So you'll see in that video, if you're back now after watching that, the water that he had placed that on top of the wooden block froze, and then it stuck to the bottom of the beaker. So you have absolute freezing actually happening instead of heat being released. So what we see here is that on the reactant side is heat. So heat is absorbed. Okay, so that's the difference between exothermic and endothermic. I have another video in there, which they're 2 thermite balls that they have an exothermic reaction. It's a single displacement reaction in which rust is being used. Rust is being used in its reacting with aluminum, and it gives you a nice bright combustion reaction that's exothermic as well because it's producing heat. So take a look at both of those, and then we'll finish our slides right here. Here are some characteristics of all of our types of reactions. So these are our 5 types of reactions that we've talked about the past few days. These are just kind of putting them all in one place, all the important stuff. Okay, so you've got all the general equations right here in the middle. And remember, combustion always produces CO2 and H2O. Double displacement, you've got them switching places. Single displacement, you've got one switching places with the other. Decomposition, we're splitting up. Synthesis, we are coming together. And here's just a quick write-up of what they each look like. Okay, that is it for the end of our lesson for today. I'm going to finish that there. I will be uploading another video today where I will give you my examples, my real life examples. Remember, I was talking in the last lesson about, like 2 celebrities breaking up is like a decomposition. I'll give you my examples. Mine happen to be all about Star Wars. Once you watch that, I want you to go onto the Google Forms link that I'll post, and I want you to submit your own examples for each of them. So just copy down the notes for right now. You can work on the types of reactions practice sheet if you haven't finished that yet, but I will be back with another video in just a bit.